Catholic of Rome here. This is in response to AZ Superman 01's Tough Questions for Christians number 17. For people who have never heard of Jesus, are they saved? And if so, then why tell them about Jesus? I would like to once again congratulate you on your work. You usually present a classy discussion that is both healthy for people's learning and entertaining for many. This is definitely the most difficult question that you've presented so far. You make a good point, and I've spoken with friends and acquaintances alike about this for many years. So, if people must accept Jesus to get into heaven, they have to know him. So are the people who never hear about him just kind of SOL? No. Okay, so they are saved, but they don't have to know Jesus. Possibly. Once again, we're making generalizations based on what we know about God. In the end, he is the final judge and knows the hearts of men and can decide who deserves what. That being said, let's look at what the Catholic Church teaches about death, judgment, heaven, hell, and purgatory. From the Catechism, each man receives his eternal retribution in his immortal soul at the very moment of his death, in a particular judgment that refers his life to Christ, either entrance into the blessedness of heaven through a purification or immediate and everlasting damnation. So how do we get to heaven? Well, if you die in God's grace and friendship, you are perfectly purified and you will go to heaven. Seems that the opposite would make for hell, right? Generally, it's assumed that you must willingly and consciously choose to reject God and his teachings. But what about those who live good lives but have never heard of Jesus? Wouldn't they die in God's friendship but not necessarily be perfectly purified? This is where purgatory comes in. There are many examples of times in the Bible where Jesus mentions a place that the Catholic Church calls purgatory. This video is not the presentation of those arguments, but if you will have an open mind, look at the consistency of love and justice that is kept with the belief of purgatory. From the Catechism again, those who die in God's grace and friendship but are not perfectly purified are indeed guaranteed their salvation. I love that safety net. But after death, they undergo purification so as to achieve the holiness necessary to enter the joy of heaven. So the people in question are those who have never heard of Christ. They are saved through God's justice. They have through no wrong of their own done anything to deserve eternal damnation. However, they also haven't been able to accept Jesus Christ and live a life trying to be like him. So God will allow them entrance to heaven, assuming they lived a generally good life and tried to do well on their own accord to the best of their knowledge and ability. But first you must purify them, because they haven't accepted Jesus. They weren't able to make the sacrifices that Christianity sometimes calls us to make. For instance, like not doing those sins that are so pleasurable to us. And so God must make them righteous. Jesus still died for them, but their purification in purgatory allows them to understand God's mercy and undergo the cleansing that is needed before a sinful person enters the perfect realm of heaven. I hope all this is making sense. So next you may think, well, okay, so there's still no reason to go and tell them about Christ, right? Wrong. Purgatory is a great safety net, allowing those who attempted but fell short of what God was asking for them. Maybe they sometimes didn't give a full effort, but they never willingly rejected God and all his teachings. But it isn't heaven. The point of purgatory is cleansing to get to heaven. It is also very often explained with reference to fire. Fire generally doesn't feel good, but it is not a torture like hell. It may be difficult to grasp, but think of it more as a fire's cleansing properties, the ability to sterilize, as opposed to burning strictly to cause pain to us. We certainly would like to aim to skip this step, wouldn't we? So why would we leave our fellow men and women out of this essential step? My priest once gave me this analogy. I can travel from my house to the grocery store or school or any 2 points, they don't really matter. Now the whole point is to get there, right? That's what we're going to assume, that's the destination. So I can walk, or I can ride a bike, or I can drive a car. Now, excluding the health benefits of each, yeah, I know bikes or walking are better for your body and the environment. Our main goal is just to get there. So our purpose is simply to reach our destination. Would we want to walk or take the fast lane in the car? I don't know about you, but I'm taking the fast lane. Like I said, please don't pick apart pollution. I don't even want to talk about gas prices right now. Essentially, all we're doing is traveling. So look at it like that. We have a car, and we have the opportunity to give our fellow men and women a ride. We would be cruel and selfish not to give them a ride. The same works with purgatory. Not knowing about Jesus is like walking. Christianity is the car. The bike is whatever, use your imagination, it's not very important. So I think I've covered my main points. I look forward to hearing from you. I would like to know what you think. Catholic of Rome, out.